Greetings in the name of Christ, incarnated, crucified, and risen for the life of the world. I'm Bishop Tom Aitken of the Northeastern Minnesota Synod, and this is my weekly video to you. I'm going to start out today by lifting up a couple of really important documents for the life of our congregations. The first one is called the Paycheck Protection Program Fact Sheet. It's already on our website, but we're going to repost it on our onlines and Facebook and as a part of this message as well. And it answers questions in a very concise form. It's really good. Are churches eligible for this protection? Yes, for example. That's the first question. The second question, where do we apply? It goes right through this whole procedure. Very, very helpful for congregations. The second one is a document that talks about remote meetings so that there can be voting done by congregations. Again, very helpful. That's also posted. Now, as of yesterday, we entered Holy Week. Palm Sunday was yesterday. Like you, I was able to listen and participate in a number of worship online and live streaming experiences. I heard the sermons of 4 different pastors. They were really helpful. And in their own way, each of them was saying, Jesus Christ comes to us in surprising ways, even in the middle of distressing news like COVID-19. I bring you a word of encouragement today too. I'm going to do it in a way that is twofold. 2 truths that are important. One is the truth about COVID-19, the pandemic. We need to be honest. We need to be courageous. Face that truth. Stay at home. Be careful and continue to serve others safely. But the second truth is also important, more important, and that is the truth about Jesus Christ, the one whom we're going to look at so deeply this week during Holy Week. So the way I want to do that is to share with you a modern day parable. That's how Jesus taught. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived in a large city, like New York City. He was a man who lived by fear. That was the framework of his life. You might say he was infected by fear. Every day when he got home, he went through the same routine, a fearful routine. He had 4 locks on his door. He had installed 4 locks to keep anybody out of his home. And the first lock was especially expensive. And while it only took a minute to open those 4 locks, it was the most frightening part of his day because he was nervous and he fumbled with his keys. Once he was inside, he quickly locked all 4 locks, pushed the 2 deadbolts across, and then took that little chain that goes across the door onto that bolt and locked himself in for the evening. Then he went right to the TV and watched the next round of bad news. Natural disasters, violence, rapes, murder. This is how he lived. One night, there was a knocking at the door. He was frozen by fear. He turned off the TV, he turned off the lights, and he stood there in front of the door, looking down at the light that was coming through the bottom of that door in total terror. He waited. He could see a shadow of a person through that little crack of light at the bottom of the door. He waited for a long time. The knock came again. And then he heard footsteps. And he saw that an envelope had been pushed underneath the crack of that door. He waited for a full 10 minutes in terror. Finally, he picked up that envelope. He opened it up, and inside was a message. 3 words. I love you. Holy Week is about that message. I love you. It's about a person, Jesus, who incarnated that message in this world and who brings it to us now in the middle of our darkness, in the middle of our fears. Jesus comes as the very love of God. That's what the Christian faith is all about. He takes in our fears, he takes in our evil, He takes in everything that is violent into himself, and he destroys it. That's the message of Good Friday. In the midst of COVID-19 and whatever fears you have beyond that, God comes to us this Holy Week in the person of Jesus. We're going to hear the teachings on Maundy, Thursday, where Jesus says, after he washes the disciples' feet, "You go do likewise, for I give you a new commandment. As I have loved you, you go and love others, and I will give you the power to do that." And then we hear the truth about Good Friday, where in the midst of that terrible crucifixion, a holy mystery occurs. God in Christ takes all of the evil and hurt of the world, and unlike the power brokers of this world, Jesus takes it in on himself and destroys it. It's our holy mystery. It's the mystery that is clear in these words, "I love you, God." I don't argue that there's nothing to fear in this world. There is. I don't argue that all is right in this world. It isn't. But here's the thing. Fear does not give us strength. Fear is not the answer. Fear does not give us hope. Only God gives that. And God gives that in Christ. That drama will get played out in our liturgies this week. I urge you to take part in those through live stream, through online worship experiences. And I urge myself and you to open our hearts to this truth, this person, incarnated, crucified, and risen for the life of the world. Let us be transformed by this truth, to the glory of God and to the good of our neighbor, in the name of the Holy and Blessed Trinity, the lover of our souls.